When it comes to George Pickens, all we talked about all week was the headlines that he made during a game, and we couldn't shut up about him. Trust me, I'm part of the media. I talked all week about it. I asked every single person I talked to, and I didn't want to do it, but that's my job. This week, we're going to do the same thing because George Pickens is going to make headlines again against the Baltimore Ravens. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackpine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. And today, I'm going to be real simple. George Pickens is going to make headlines again against the Baltimore Ravens. This time, it's going to be a little different. This is all we heard all week long.
Just keep playing. Always stay ready. You never know when the ball will come your way. The minute you put that in your head, I'm not getting the ball, I'm not getting enough targets. That's when you start to, focus on the wrong things, and you don't really be as locked in as you should be. And when it's time for a play to be made, you ain't really all the way in because you worry about the last play or you worry about not getting the ball. So it's just really just focus on the right things and letting things flow. Stuff gonna happen throughout the game, regardless whether you like it or not. It's part of the game. It's just how you hold yourself, like your body language, all that. Just keep playing. Just always be ready. Like I said, you never know when the ball can come your way.
I'd rather say woe than sick 'em. I want a guy that wants to be a significant part of what it is that we do. Now, the appropriate and professional and mature way to express that, we're growing and working on, and we will continue. But that spirit, that competitive spirit, the guy that wants the ball, I want that guy. I would imagine TJ wants to lay the quarterback down more. We got competitors. This is professional football. These guys know that they have to deliver. And so for a guy that wants to do that, I'm not going to make that a negative, no matter how silly I think the commentary is or people talking about him expressing frustrations and stuff and trying to make it a negative storyline. I laugh at that. Again, that's one of the reasons why we're continually progressing, because we're capable of tuning that BS out.
I ain't gonna lie, before we start this, I ain't finna be just saying stuff for y'all to just paint up. So I mean, make a statement bigger than what it is, or make something bigger than what it is. You start.
I've hit the point where I don't want to talk about George Pickens and his frustration on the sidelines anymore. And I don't think Kenny Pickett wants to hear it. I don't think George Pickens wants to hear it. I don't think Mike Tomlin wants to hear it. I don't think Deontay Johnson wants to hear it. And I don't think Matt Canada wants to hear it. I don't think anybody wants to hear about how bad George Pickens was and how bad his attitude is and how upset he was that he wasn't getting the football and how we've painted something bigger than what it is. And truthfully, I'm not going to paint something bigger than what it is. I think it was a little bit of an issue, but at the same time, he's 21 years old. When I was 21 years old, I was a Division III lacrosse player, and I was fighting everybody and anybody. I was fighting people on my own team. I constantly had issues for something or another. So I could 100% see why he has issues as well. This week, though, the Steelers are going to follow the same pattern that they followed all season long. You hear a complaint, you see what's wrong with the offense, you go and fix it. And this week, what needs to be fixed is George Pickens. Right now, George Pickens over-under on FanDuel is 41.5 yards. I hammered it. The Steelers are favored by 1.5 points over the Baltimore Ravens. I hammered it. And George Pickens right now currently sits at plus 360 odds to score a touchdown. I hammered it. And I might come on here tomorrow and tell you guys that I lost a boatload of money and I continue to streak of bad betting because, as we've known in the past, that's who I am, and I'm not very good at this. But I have not felt more confident about a bet than I am right now because I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do two things. They're going to walk into this game and they're going to say, we're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens. We're going to start December football strong. We're going to win a game over Tyler Huntley. We're going to continue this winning streak. We're going to keep our playoff hopes alive. Things are going to keep clicking. And on top of that, they're going to say, we're going to shut every single person up about George Pickens. There is no way we're walking out of this game and people are not laughing at how bad the media represented a situation about a 21-year-old kid who had one catch for 2 yards and was frustrated about it. You know that's what Mike Tomlin's going to do. You know that's what the game plan is. That's a classic Pittsburgh Steelers approach to a game. This is what everybody says is wrong with us. Let's go make them wrong. And it's not like anybody's got to worry about it. It's not like George Pickens is a guy where it's going to take a bunch of effort to get him the football or to get him the yards or to get him in the end zone. We've seen everything. You want to know what the problem was last week? He lined up in the slot over 30% of the time. He's not a slot receiver. He's never been a slot receiver. I don't think anybody had the expectations that he's going to come in here and fill Chase Claypool's role after Chase Claypool left. That's what Steven Sims' job is. That's what Gunnar Olszewski's job is. That's what Connor Hayward's job is. Derek Bell at allsteelers.com wrote a great article about who the Steelers could target in the NFL draft because that's definitely a need now. But it's not George Pickens. And I think they tried to make it George Pickens last week, but I also don't think it was, George is going to be our slot guy. I think it was we're going to try to catch a team off guard and we're going to put George in the slot and we're going to keep mixing it up. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. And it didn't work at all. But that doesn't mean it's wrong or that George is suddenly bad or that the offense doesn't work for him. It just means that against the Ravens, they're going to line him up outside and they're going to put him back to where he normally plays. And it doesn't matter if he's open. Kenny Pickett's going to throw it up and he's going to come down with it. It's George Pickens. We've seen what he can do. This is not anything new. This is not anything different. The dude's been making plays since the second he walked onto the field. I remember, I'm going to bring this up all season long. His entire career, I'm going to bring it up. We were at rookie minicamp, and I made one of these episodes about how he's a star because of how good of a football player he was right off the bat. And that did not change, and that isn't changing at all. Now, he's all fired up because the media is talking smack on him. The offense is going to work in his favor to try to get him the football. And he's coming off a bad game. The last time George Pickens had 0 catches for 0 yards against Philadelphia, he came back after the bye week, got 3 passes for 31 yards, 32 yards. The next 2 games, he went 83 yards and a touchdown, 57 yards. Now he's got 1 catch for 2 yards. There's no bye week to ignore what just happened. There's no bye week to keep tensions calm. This is a straight up, it was 7 days ago. Everybody's talking about it. You know for a fact that the broadcast is going to bring it up 100 times, minimum 100 times. You know how big of a game this is going to be. Plus, he's going to line up against Marcus Peters, who's, I think, the smallest variable, but such a big one in this situation. You want a guy who's out there, and this is what I'm going to bring a full circle here. George Pickens was a guy who was throwing people into walls during games in college, who was fighting people, who that was his nick coming out of college. Why'd he drop to the second round? Because he had attitude issues. Well, you want to know who talks more smack than any cornerback in the NFL? Marcus Peters. You want to know who's going to be lined up on George Pickens at least half the time? Marcus Peters. You're telling me that Marcus Peters isn't going to try as hard as possible to get in this guy's head? And you're telling me that, yeah, it might work. You know, if George got ejected from this game, it wouldn't surprise anybody because Marcus Peters would get ejected too. It wouldn't be like a one-handed thing. It'd be those two fighting. But if it doesn't happen, George is gonna battle that one out. And yeah, Marcus Peters is a good cornerback. But George is young and upcoming, and this is a game to say, hey, man, keep talking smack. Go ahead. I'm going to see you twice a year, every year, and it's going to be great. I don't know. The formula is there. The formula is certainly there for George Pickens to have one monster game against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what else to say. He's going to make headlines. And yeah, the title of this is a little clickbaity. I get it, but that's because I needed to get my point across. I needed everybody to see exactly what I was going to say. He's going to make headlines. He's going to be the biggest headline of the game. You are going to talk constantly. The broadcasters are going to talk constantly about how George Pickens had 1 catch for 2 yards and came off the field frustrated. And how Mike Tomlin said, whoa, and not sick him. You're going to hear it 100 times. It's going to be a bigger story than Kenny Pickett's first game against Baltimore. But he's going to show up, and that offense is going to do what they do every single time that somebody calls them out. They're going to go out there, and they're going to say, ha, gotcha. And this week, it's George Pickens that they're going to get. And I don't know, that's about as dangerous as it gets in Pittsburgh right now. It's going to be a good week for George Pickens.